You know right, assassinate. Airport and my moja nananu shegu edigu on my
And that Aban say Moody's for rating abano. Womoko appeali because omususu say dabi womo de womo nsem fata say yebe grade omo saa. Mama wati ase say rating na abano yese yare ohwe category a yede yan akwa akoto a yede yan akwa akoto high, very high credit risk, very high. The last point last me betre mo chart no wa ha Ghana yendu sa level ne da aban we ede yan akwa akodu. But I mean fair enough, aban me be ready aban nsem a wo ka e wo rating ne so nsem a wo mo ka say rating no mo nji ntum no mbe appeali what not. Now me pese ye call back in time na ye ko he emra Mahama wonya B- and the President Akufo Addo wonya CAA1, which is the lowest ever. But Mahama time at a point in time no Mahama enya B-. Emra Mahama enya B- no yenko na yenko tie nsem a Bawumia Kojo Oppong Nkrumah no Bawumia I mean specifically Bawumia ekan ye wi a mesanso abo Akufo Addo audio atremo na masanso abo Kojo Oppong Nkrumah embre bi because last me beye anandra me beye analysis one me mamoti ase say last year, last 2 years, last 3 years, same Moody's for yi na wo mu ratings a wo mo de ba na favor Ghana. Inti sa time na aban e de hoahoa ne ho. Say ani Moody's for rating ya ade and there ko ba ya nya ade what they share Moody's for. Or they share Moody's for NPP nso they share NDC say omo no mo aye. Now, you go back in time and then Embra Moody's rating no e de ba Ghana na eye no Yebehe asemu a Kojo Oppong Nkrumah so senior wode eye politics a wode kasa inti no quite interesting. Yankofa those audios ni na no embra. Mama wati say if there is something ende kuetia aban we a embra na wo mo opposition no nsem bia wo mo kan. Ende me hu ne say professor bi ana university lecturer bi doctor or there two social media say hey Bawumia de no and order to say hey karma is a bit karma is a me better mebo word no but karma is a B. And someone crofui kan emra na Mahama wa ban so to say ndem mobile no bibia adrega worse now so dabi omo de omo mpese ye bebo so and I'm not the one saying it. The statistics show Bawumia na kasa na kan if the are weak, if the fundamentals are weak, the dollar rate will explode.
Melodies TV on YouTube.
He doesn't want us to use that same standard that we use at NDC for. It's quite interesting. You go change some number.
Ghana's sovereign credit rating has been downgraded from B+ positive. Without oil, Ghana was being rated as B+ positive under the NPP. We've now come down with oil under the NDC and John Mahama to B- with a stable outlook in 2016. So we've gone from B+ to B- with oil. In fact, international credit ratings agencies like Moody's, Fitch, Standard & Poor's now have basically the same credit rating for Ghana. The recent revision of Ghana's outlook from B- negative to B- stable, that is the equivalent of B3 that Moody's have. The outlook was revised from negative to stable, has resulted in a misinterpretation by this NDC government and President Mahama that Ghana's credit rating has been upgraded. This is in fact not the case. Moody's did not upgrade Ghana. Ghana's rating under Moody's is still B-. It is only the outlook that has been revised. And that is not equivalent to a change in rating or a change, a ratings upgrade. The outlook is not equivalent.
Ghana's problem is not about resources. Our problem is the efficient and honest management of the resources.
Ghana today is in crisis. Agriculture, once upon a time the bedrock of our development, is a pale shadow of its former self. Manufacturing is at a very low ebb. Corruption is at its height. Our economy is in tatters. Inflation is high. Taxes are high. Businesses, both big and small, are struggling. And millions of young men and women are out of work. Incompetence is the hallmark of the Mahama government. Government appointments are not based on merit, but on considerations which are not only puzzling, but also bizarre. Our healthcare system is in shambles with the collapse of the National Health Insurance Scheme. The cost of education continues to be a big challenge for too many families. Young people who have toiled to obtain qualifications are having great difficulty in finding jobs. And there are hundreds of thousands of Ghanaian children who are not getting the kind of education that they need to compete in the 21st century. Ghana is in trouble. There is a need for change in the way in which this country is governed. A change that will make way for a competent, honest, hard-working, well-qualified team to take over the affairs of this country and steer it in the direction of prosperity for all. Instead of the current state of affairs, which dwells on prosperity for the friends and family of the people in power. What excites me is that in spite of all the difficulties, the Ghanaian people have hope. They have hope for a brighter future. They have hope because they believe change is coming.
Of Ghana welcomes the change in the nation's economic outlook from stable to positive by the Moody's rating agency. The economic management team is very pleased at this outlook change and commits to do more of the things that have ensured that we are now on this path. The change in outlook is a very important development, especially in the context of
MELODIES TV
our ratings
on YouTube.
History over the years.
All of these are hurting. They are hurting the economy. These taxes are hurting, and therefore you are not going to get the growth. And when you don't get the growth, you will not get the revenue. And when you don't get the revenue, you go back to increasing taxes to get the revenue, and then you are in a cyclical downward spiral. And so they have it wrong, and we will change that particular policy. We will use the tax incentives to grow this economy. And
these decisions with the objective of increasing trade facilitation and efficiency and revenue. Port revenue depends on volume. Port revenue depends on volume. So if you don't have the trade facilitation, you will not have the volume. And if you don't have the volume, you will not have the revenue. And this is that is what the thinking that is informing these decisions. So we are looking at increasing revenue. But to do so, we cannot be uncompetitive between Ghana and our next door neighbors. That is just shooting ourselves in the foot. So, propaganda you want. But if the fundamentals are weak, the exchange rate will expose you. Ladies and gentlemen, you will recall that I stated in 2014 that if the fundamentals are weak, the exchange rate will expose you. That was true then, and it is true now. It is 100% correct. So if the fundamentals are weak, the exchange rate will expose you. But it is warped logic to jump from that to a conclusion that if there is depreciation in your currency, then the fundamentals must be weak. Do you understand the logic? It is very warped logic. If the fundamentals are weak, the exchange rate will expose you. But if the exchange rate moves, you cannot jump to that conclusion that the fundamentals are weak. That defies logic.
You can see Dr. Bawumia is out of breath. So a man who has died in the market, you don't need to announce his funeral. Credibility matters a lot. My brother, we all know the truth we have unpeddled, and we have said it, that if a lion is found of patronizing the marketplace, they will treat it like a puppy. Today, if Dr. Bawumia should greet anybody, he meets you and greets you good morning. You look at the position of the sun before you respond.